Hi, I'm here for an Avatar The Last Airbender character ranking. Avatar The Last Airbender was a show that I waited a long time to see because it didn't really seem like something that would be a show that I would really like that much. But as time went on, I felt more interested in it and I eventually decided to check it out. And I did end up liking it. There are certain things about the show that I'm not the biggest fan of, and there's certain characters I'm not the biggest fan of, but I would overall consider myself a fan of the show. In 15th place and 14th place are two characters that go together and just aren't two characters that I ever felt that interested in. Although if you're fans of the characters, that's perfectly fine. 15 is Appa and 14 is Momo. They just never really did anything that really excited me that much. I didn't really feel too invested in their characters. I guess they were okay, but I just don't consider myself huge fans of those characters. In a similar vein is my number 13, Suki. Uh, she, like Momo and Appa, isn't really an awful character. There's just never really a point where I thought she was that exciting, and I guess she served her role in an okay way, but there's nothing that huge that really jumped out about her to me that really made her an exciting character. In 12th place, I feel like could be a really unpopular opinion. I think that this character would be in a lot of people's top 10. In fact, I think this character would be in a lot of people's top 5. Number 12 is Toph. Toph does have some fun moments and even a few emotional moments. Toph can be a little bit annoying depending on the episode. Not necessarily the most likable character, not necessarily the best character to have around, but she certainly has moments where she's a good character. So I don't think she's a bad character overall, but she's not a character that I cared enough about to make my top 10. Number 11, Ty Lee, a character that's often amusing. And so she's good for some comedic moments, but outside of being a comedy relief, there's not really that much about her character that really interests me that much, but she served the role of a comedic character pretty well. Number 10 is Sokka, a much more prominent character than Ty Lee, but a character I have similar feelings about. He's a funny character, a consistently funny character, one of the more amusing characters in the show overall. And there's not really much more for me to say about him, even though he is one of the main characters. He's pretty much there to be the funny character. And does he have some emotional moments? Some, but overall, he feels more like a comedy relief than a character that would be one of the main characters of the show. So he is a main character, but feels like a supporting character in terms of importance. Number 9 is Roku. He's a really good mentor character, and he just serves that role very well. He has a really interesting backstory with Sozin, and I would love to put Sozin in my ranking because I thought Sozin was really interesting, but in order to keep things from being too complicated, I wanted to focus on the prominent characters from Avatar, but Roku is a pretty good character. Number 8 is a character that I think a lot of people would have in their top 3. I think this character would be a lot of people's favorite character. Number 8 is Prince Zuko. Zuko is a pretty interesting character, a very morally conflicted character, and he is certainly a pretty interesting character, but he didn't really grab me as much as these other characters in terms of being interesting, but I am a fan of his character. Number 7 is Aang, the lead character of the show. He's not necessarily the most exciting for a lead character, but what makes up for that is he's a really likable character, an optimistic character, uh, a character that can be very thoughtful and have some good emotional stuff to go on. So not necessarily the most exciting, but a pretty good lead character. Number 6 is Katara. Uh, she brings out a lot of the good emotional stuff. There's a lot of strong, compelling stuff about her dealing with the loss of her mother, and she's a strong, uplifting character, and I enjoy what she brings to the show. A lot of the antagonists are more interesting, though, than the heroes. For example, number 5, Princess Azula. A very villainous character that does a lot of bad things, but she sure is a fun antagonist, and at times the most intimidating antagonist in the show. She leaves a really good impact, and I really do enjoy her character, even though she's hardly likable. Number 4 is May. May is really cool. I really enjoy her personality, where it seems like she really doesn't care what's going on. There's a lot of humor that comes from that, but she's also sympathetic. She has great chemistry with Zuko. She's a really fun character to have around. Number 3 is Iroh, arguably the most emotionally impactful character in the show. With some of the best moments, he is my favorite of the heroes in Avatar The Last Airbender. And he could be a very funny character, but he's definitely a lot more than a comedy relief. Uh, he is a very heartfelt guardian to Zuko, and really a wonderful father figure, and I really do enjoy his character. Number 2 is Fire Lord Ozai. Uh, Ozai, the Phoenix King, quite the compelling antagonist, a very intimidating one. A villain that I wish had a lot more screen time, but he was certainly really cool when he showed up and really left a strong, memorable impact, and is one of the more memorable characters in the franchise overall, despite his lack of screen time. And he had a great villainous presence. I love how truly villainous he is. He is very evil, and a very exciting character overall. And in number 1 is Admiral Zhao. Uh, Although Ozai is the big villain in charge, I do consider Zhao to be the most entertaining villain, with his great ego, a very persistent villain, a villain constantly getting in Zuko's way, and a villain with a very overdramatic flair that I found very entertaining, and he was a very exciting character that added so much to book 1. He is a really great character, and a character that I really love seeing, and he really stood out to me. So that's my ranking for Avatar The Last Airbender characters, and you can let me know what you think of my ranking.